My name is Toyosi Akerele, and I'm the founder and CEO of Rise Networks. I'm an entrepreneur. Rise Networks happens to be a social enterprise, which is a component of the group of businesses that I own and run. I got my first job at 9, actually, and I worked for a bit again, before I went to university after secondary school. I studied French and computer, and I worked for a bit before I went to university. And when I got into university, I studied civil law at the University of Jos. I founded Rise Networks it started as a magazine in my third year in university. I don't have any formal work experience. I got a job in Owando right after university. I worked in Owando for about 3 weeks and I resigned afterwards. I left Owando in 2007, June 2007, and moved on to fully work at Rise. Like I said, it started as a magazine, but at some point I realized that a magazine wouldn't reach as many people. Even if you do 100,000 copies, we're a country of 160 million people and 65 million young people. I decided that that organizing a major annual conference, to get young people to converge and encounter, engage, and experience some of the leaders in this country would do more than publishing a magazine. But we could then we could then extract a bulletin or a newsletter from the content of our programs. I plan to organize the first Rise National Youth Forum, and God sent me an angel in the person of Mr. Gamalelo Nosode, a special father to me if ever there was anyone. I went to meet him and invited him to chair the Rise National Youth Forum. In fact, my plan was to have a small venue in Ikeja with 100 people. And he asked me, I said, Toyosi, there's nothing like this in Nigeria today. Why don't you do something big out of this? After all, the only youth programs you have is church. Why don't you have a secular, big, massive national youth forum? And I said, I don't know how to do it. I'm a fresh graduate. I don't know anyone. I went to school in the north. I don't know anyone in Lagos, even though I was born here. But, I didn't quite know anyone who was going to help me do that. So I wanted to start small. And he said, okay, go and do a plan and come back to me and take a look. Let me take a look. And he helped me. Mr. Anosode helped me. I remember the day of the Rise National Youth Forum, June 20, 2007, when NLC went on strike just 3 days before. And a couple of my friends and my mentors actually called me and said, Toyosi, Labour is on strike. There'll be no movement. Gas stations won't open. Buses won't move. How are young people going to move and get to the venue? On the day of the Rise National Youth Forum, there was over 4,000 young people at that event. Since 2007, Rise has been to 23 states of Nigeria, cut across all the 6 geopolitical zones, all the way to Kano, to Kaduna, down to Owerri, to Enugu, to Benin, to Asaba, to Lagos, Abeokuta, Ibadan, Ilorin, to different, to reach out to different young people. And even in communities where people think that they're too backward to learn. Based on the conviction that I think that, a lot of people have learned to accept that political maneuver that Nigerians don't read. And I don't think it's true. I buy a lot of books, and I know a lot of people buy a lot of books and read a lot. Readers are leaders, and most of what you become is really, what you perform is what you become. And for you to even perform anything, it's about what you take inside. And if you don't read, you cannot challenge the status quo, because you cannot face today's challenges with yesterday's knowledge. So you need to consistently read and reinvent yourself. And so we set up a library in Lagos in 2010. There's a computer center inside as well, where young people come to do their research work. We have a lot of young professionals come to study there. People do, studying for professional exams, ICIPM, NIPR, Advan, ICANN. Also, a lot of young professionals are students. The major, clientele for our library. And for us, even though our business is supposed to be some sort high end in the real sense, in terms of the quality of what we deliver, mindful to ensure that our services are able to reach, the masses and are affordable for them. We also have a conference room that we run for small businesses. A lot of young business owners want to organize board meetings, want to organize, small business meetings, or even have small trainings or conferences, and they don't want to go and use those very big venues. So we also have, conference rooms that, people come to use. Aside from those ones, ones which are more education, which are more in line with education and capacity building. I also own a printing business that used to be called the Rice Print Company, but is now called Print Magic. When you do a good job, there's a reward for excellence. And when you are committed to doing what you do, and when people see sincerity in what you do, it's easy for them to want to invest in what you do. Starting the Rise Print Company, what I did was to save up and buy some little money. I also do a lot of public speaking, and so I get paid some money from my public speaking engagements. And so I tried to save up some little money and got some support from an institution to start my printing press. And I started making money. I started doing business, even though in the first 3 months we didn't have any job. My first job to print, my first print brief at the Rice Print Company was 225,000, and the job itself cost me 220,000. So my profit was 5,000. And so the day I got a brief and printed the job of 26 million. You can imagine how I feel. Print Magic has grown to a point where now we're trying to set up an online print retail store. If you'd like to come to our shopping floor to just inspect, fine, but everything can be done online. And it's the first online print retail store in Nigeria. And you hear me use online a lot because I realized that we would have to deploy technology in a very creative way to drive change. The same country where we are, where a lot of young people complain that things don't work in Nigeria, is the same country where people are making things work. You understand? For every Goliath, there's a stone. And so we must understand that for every challenge, there's a solution. And I said to myself, what can Rise do? As against, now that we have reached almost the peak of youth, organizing youth seminars, what can we do that is tangible, that young people can encounter, and it will cause for a rapid transformation in their own lives? And we founded Pass Now, and it will be the first e-learning online school platform in Nigeria where young people can access past questions of WAEC, JAMB, and NECO, where young people can access lecture notes just according to curriculum based on syllabus. So for me, running a business is very exciting, but it's a totally different ball game from running a social enterprise. And the idea of running a business is so that very soon, as I plan to leave and exit Rise Networks, I'm also, in the process of succession planning, as I exit Rise Networks to move on to doing other things with my own life and career. I am also studying, reading different books, going on to do international training programs and courses to build my capacity and make me, competitive. My fear is if our generation will be better than the older generation that we complain bitterly about. I'm guilty as well. It is my fear. And it's for all of us to think about it and understand that the true stars, the true superstars of this generation will not just peddle with talks, will not just focus on the problems, because there are so many distractions that are around us, but focus on solutions, because the greatness of a country is not in the flag, is not in the arable land, it's in the people.